Well, good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal. Today we're going to be taking a drive out to Warner Springs and we're going to be hitting up the Los Coyotes Indian Reservation. It's a great spot. And super nice people at the reservation. And if you've never been there before, there's a trail that goes up to the top of the highest point in San Diego County called Hot Springs Mountain. And no, there's no hot springs there, but it is the first 2 miles, it's a pretty steep fire road, and then it kind of branches off a little bit, and you get into some higher elevation, absolutely stunning scenery. It's one of my favorite hikes. Lots of tall cypress trees, and there's all kinds of tall pines and cedars, and there might even be a sequoia or two tucked in there in a grove somewhere. I don't know, but I just love that area. In fact, I liked it so much that I did it twice in 1 week. A couple of years ago. So I haven't been up there in a couple of years, so I thought today would be a great day to go out there. It's nice and cold right now. It's in the mid-30s, and it's supposed to heat up to probably the upper 50s, I would think. There's a chance of some high winds later this afternoon. I don't know if we're going to hit it or not, but we'll see. Gonna be wearing my kilt today, and I brought a tarp and some stuff to make some coffee, and have a few snacks, and that's really going to be about it. But it ought to be a fun adventure. I haven't been up and haven't done a hike in a while since the fire lookout because of all the other things I've been doing. So anyway, this ought to be pretty fun for me at least. Good to get my my heart pumping and my legs churning, and gonna be taking a hike up here into the Los Coyotes Indian Reservation. That'll all be coming up next on this edition of the Hiking Journal. We'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, the reason I stopped is that there's a whole flock of turkeys right here on the road in front of me, and it's like, okay, you guys need to get out of the way. Well, good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal. Today I'm out in inland San Diego County at the Hot Springs Mountain Trailhead. It's located on the Los Coyotes Indian Reservation. There is a $10 trespass fee you have to pay to the tribal ranger when you first come into the reservation. And it's a great hike. It's about a 10-mile round trip hike up about 2,500 feet to the top of Hot Springs Mountain. The first 2 miles is pretty steep, and it's kind of boring because it's a fire road, but once you get past that 2-mile point, the next 3 are just absolutely stunning. Going up to the Hot Springs Mountain Fire Lookout, which is no longer there, burned to the ground years ago, but part of the structure is still remaining. And then if you go further to the right, you can actually work your way up to the high point. There's a large rock outcropping, and a very unique way you have to climb up to the top. You got to use a rope or a ladder to get to the actual high point. So, and it is the high point for San Diego County, so if climbing high point's your thing, then this is going to be a great hike for you. Hot Springs Mountain in inland San Diego. Anyway, follow me up the trail as we start up. There's only one other guy here. He came in from England, and I think he liked my kilt. So anyway, it's cool here today too. It was in the mid-30s when I left the house, so it's going to be chilly today. It'll warm up to probably mid-50s, I'm thinking. As long as the wind doesn't kick up too bad, it ought to be a nice day. Well, anyway, I'm heading up the trail. Well, this is the official start of the trail. There are some warning signs for rattlesnakes, mountain lions, and to give you an idea where we are, we're right about right here. We're going to be taking a trip up this way, all the way up. Oh, I'm up here to the top, and then once I get up there, I'm going to be heading up to the top. Well, this is the official start of the trail, the Hot Springs Mountain Trail. Got around this gate, and then up we go. That banging you're hearing is going to be the tassels on my sporran. Well, as I'm working my way up this fire road, this is the worst part of the hike right here for me. This is by far the worst. This is 2 miles straight uphill in the sun. There's a little bit of, we're getting a little higher up, there's a little bit of a breeze, so it's not as bad. But I'm definitely overheating in the sweater, but once I get up here a little further, I'll be in the shade, and we'll see what the temperature is. It's probably not that hot. It's probably in the low 40s right now, but I'm working my way up this steep fire road and I'm working up a sweat. I'm carrying a lot of gear today too. I've got my Svea Jacari pack. And I've got 2 different tarps, a couple of ropes, and a pretty heavy cook kit today, along with the regular 10 essentials. So I'm going to be experimenting, playing with some gear while I'm up here and enjoying the peace. I thought I heard some voices earlier, but I haven't seen them, and I can't imagine anybody going slower than me. So anyway, I got to keep trucking. I got about another mile to go, maybe a little less, to get to that rise, and then from there it'll be a gorgeous hike. Well, I had to stop for a minute to cool off a little bit in the shade. It's heating up. There's a breeze up here though, and it actually feels good. It's actually a little chilly now that I took my sweater off, so I'm just gonna carry the sweater on my waist. I'm sure once I stop and that wind hits, it'll go back on again. But in the meantime, I got to continue climbing up this road, and I've seen a lot of scat so far on the trail. Most of it looks like coyote, maybe some bobcat or a fox or something like that, but no mountain lion scat that I've seen. And well, I don't know where those voices were coming from that I thought I heard, because I haven't seen anybody. So anyway, I'm getting there, slowly trucking. Well, good morning, and welcome back out here to a little bit of nature's half acre, I guess. This is up on Hot Springs Mountain, and I'm not too far from the fire lookout. I was planning on going up there, but I gotta tell you, man, I must be out of shape eating all that Thanksgiving dinner. And so I decided to take a break here. I've been here before. I've actually cooked a lunch here before, and this is a great spot. It's got a nice stump as a tabletop. I put it by a DD 9x9 tarp behind me, and I laid a little ground sheet down there so I could set my gear on a little later. And I'm just going to make some coffee today. I found this Sigg Tourist cookset. This is a great cookset. If you were to, this one's probably from the 60s or early 70s, and it actually came with a Sigg, with a Svea 123 brass vintage backpack stove, probably from the early 70s. And I got this Sigg Tourist cookset and the Svea stove all for 17 bucks at an antique store. I don't think they knew what it was. As soon as I saw it, I grabbed it. I would have paid 40 bucks just for the cookset. Then when I opened it up and I saw that it had a Svea 123, and it's a vintage one. It's the one that was before they had the needle that moved in and out, cleaning jet needle. This one works really good. I've used it before. And so I'm just going to heat up enough water. I'm going to boil enough water to make some coffee. I've got some Highland Grog coffee from Scotland, and I put some in this little vial, and I put it in my coffee brewer here, and oh, I can smell it. I just poured the coffee grounds in here. Oh, that smells good. This is a fresh ground coffee with a little hint of cinnamon and, of course, a little bit of whiskey. And since I am wearing my kilt today, I decided I might as well bring some whiskey to pour in my coffee today. So I'm going to have my my little shot of whiskey, and I also got these when I was in Scotland. These are like a butter scone cookie, and I just love the tin, and the cookies are really good, so I'm going to have that with my coffee. I also brought one of my favorite trail snacks. This is fruitcake. Now, I know everybody hates fruitcake, and everybody jokes about fruitcake, how you get it for Christmas and it sits and eventually you throw it away, but it's actually really highly packed with calories and carbohydrates and sugar and fats. And you're not going to want to eat this every day, but I tell you what, when you're hiking or when you're backpacking and you want something that doesn't freeze and doesn't melt, and it packs a wallop on calories, man, fruitcake's the way to go.
You were the ones that sent me the fruitcake for Christmas. It made me so sick.
Oh, I'm sorry. We thought you enjoyed fruitcake.
You enjoy throwing up every 5 minutes, Claude?
Clark.
I thought so.
But it's just a gorgeous day out here. I was hiking up, I was getting hot, I was in the sun. And now that I'm up here, the wind's blowing, I had to put my sweater back on. And my Svea is cooking here. You can see the steam coming out. It's not quite at a rolling boil. I'll wait till it gets to be a rolling boil. This isn't made primarily for coffee. I mean, you could cook a full meal on this thing. It came with another pot. Came with another pot, which is a big pot, which I'm not even going to use. But I am going to use my AeroPress Go to make my coffee, so that ought to be pretty good. It's not quite at a rolling boil, but it's getting there. So I'm looking forward to this coffee because it smells so good. Anyway, I'll get to this in a second. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy some peace and solitude, except for the fluttering sound of the Svea. If you've ever used a Svea, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's almost coffee time. All right. Well, the coffee is steeping right now. I'm going to pour a little more water in there. Stir it up a little bit. You know, if you've never used some of the older gear, and everybody's into, you know, MSR pocket rockets and fancy feast stoves and, you know, gigapower stoves and even the little ultra mini stoves. Like I have one that's BRS 3000 and it only weighs like a gram or some ridiculous number. And yeah, do they boil quick? Yeah, they do. The BRS 3000 not so much, but for that kind of weight, you know, you really can't expect it to be as good as some of the other ones. But using the old Svea 123, man, it's the history behind this. If you ever were really into any of the old hiking and backpacking books like Colin Fletcher's 1,000 Mile Summer or any of those things where they talk about you know, hiking the Pacific Crest Trail back in the 70s, it just brings some nostalgia back into it. And you know, can you boil water faster? Sure you can. Are there things that are quieter? Like the Fancy Feast doesn't even make any noise. Sure, but there's something about the sputtering sound of the Svea 123 and the smell of the white gas burning that just kind of hits home with me. So I'm going to go ahead and compress my coffee here into the cup. And then I'm going to pour it into a special cup that I have. And there goes the hiss. So then you know the AeroPress has pushed all the coffee out. And there that goes. And then this is my my Smokey the Bear cup, an enameled cup. Oh, look at that! Look at the color on that. That's awesome. Ooh, and this cup's getting hot. I gotta set it down. That's the one thing about enamel cups. They don't they don't keep the sides from burning your hands. It actually feels pretty good because it's cooling off. But anyway, so the Svea 123 did its job, and I'm going to pour a little bit of whiskey in there, and I'm going to have some of my Walker's cookies from Scotland. I actually got these in Scotland, believe it or not, and I forgot that I had the tin. And I love the tin. I'm going to be able to use this tin for lots of things. I can make this would be a great emergency kit. I could put a fire starter in there, maybe a power bar or something, an energy bar, and some matches, a little bit of toilet paper, small little pocket knife maybe. This thing's going to really come in handy. But the best thing about it, of having coffee out here in the woods, is you can put a little whiskey in it. And this whiskey is actually from Scotland as well. When I was in Pitlochry, we went into a distillery, and we did a tasting at the distillery, and I was able to buy a small bottle. And with that small bottle, I was able to bring it home. And it's a single malt Scotch, and it was really, really good. And the bottle tastes just as well, just as good as what it was when we were in the distillery. So I put some in this round sporran flask, got a bite to it, as you would expect. Real Scotch from Scotland, as they say. So I'm going to enjoy my my coffee and my Scottish cookie and my time here in the mountains up here in the. I guess this is. I don't know if this is Cleveland National Forest or San Bernardino. It might be San Bernardino because it's on the north side of Highway 79. So anyway, here's to you. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you have an even better Christmas and a Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and anything else you celebrate or you don't celebrate. And no matter what you celebrate, at least get together with your family and enjoy time well spent together. I know sometimes it's trying, but you know, make the most of it and, you know, be around the loved ones as long as you can. Because, you know, one of these days they all might not be here. You know, my mom is gone, my dad is gone, mother-in-law, father-in-law, they're all gone. So slowly over time, everybody kind of fades away. And you really cherish those moments that you spent. So take the time out to see some of your relatives over the holidays. And maybe if you get lucky, you can talk them into coming out here and spending a day in the woods on a hike. Well, I'm working my way up still to Hot Springs Mountain. I stopped at the junction back there for, oh, I don't know, probably an hour. And set up a tarp, made some coffee, had some snacks. And I wasn't really planning on going the rest of the way. I thought, well, I'll go a little ways and see how I feel. And I ran into a hiker that I met at the trailhead. He's from England. He's been in the United States for quite a while, lives in Carlsbad, and super nice guy. And so I talked to him for, oh God, 20 minutes. And he kind of convinced me to continue on up. I got plenty of time. It's only noon, so we'll see how far I get. I can't be that far from the turn to Hot Springs Mountain. I don't know if I'll climb that final rock or not. We'll see. It's only 10 minutes past the lookout, so there's a good chance. The weather is just absolutely stunning today. You can smell the pines and the incense cedars, and it's really bone dry here, so it feels good though. All right, well, I made it up here to the top of Hot Springs Mountain Fire Lookout. The actual high point is just a little bit that way, quarter mile, not even that, a couple hundred yards. I might go up there, I might not, I don't know. It's getting a little later in the afternoon, so this fire lookout has been gone for many years now, and fire took care of all this and burned it to the ground. And since it's on the Indian reservation, they don't have any means to rebuild the lookout, but maybe someday they will. But it's got a tremendous view overlooking Mount Palomar and looking out toward the ocean. And in fact, if I spin around this way, off that direction in the back is Anza Borrego. So, been here a few times. It's always nice to get up here, gorgeous view. And it's just sad knowing that what was once a fire lookout is gone now. And this is the tremendous view you have looking. That's looking toward Mount Palomar Observatory, way off in the distance. Way off in the distance, even further out this direction, is San Gorgonio, way off in the back, San Jacinto. That's probably Rabbit Peak or Villager Peak on the other side of those antennas. Anza Borrego's off that way. Wow, what a tremendous view. Way off in the distance, in the haze, is Cuyamaca Peak. And in fact, actually, don't know if you can see this, that's the Salton Sea down there. Now, if you're going to make a trip up here, you might as well go to the high point, Hot Springs Mountain high point, and you can tell that's where it is. You can see all the flags hanging in the trees. He's got to kind of bushwhack your way. I might run up there. Well, I made it up here to the top of Hot Springs Mountain. Fire lookout is over that direction. This is the highest point in San Diego. And it's got quite the view from up here, as you can imagine, being the highest point. You can see all the way out to San Gorgonio and all the way out to the Mexican border. You can see the ocean, probably got a good clear day. And it was a nice hike to get up here. It was a long hike, it's 5 miles, so I got 5 miles to get down. And then the interesting part is this right here. You got to scramble up this big boulder. There's a sign and register down there. I brought a rope up, so I was able to use the existing old beat up nylon strap, which I'm not real confident about. But at least now I have my rope on there. That's a good static line. It's rated to like 5,000 pounds. So I can double that up and then just pull it through when I get down to the bottom. So that'll give me a little bit of extra sense of security going down. But I'll take a few pictures here at the top of Hot Springs Mountain, and then I got to head back. And just so you know, that's Hot Springs Mountain way over there. You can kind of see it over there. So I got to work my way back over there after I get down from this boulder, and then hike 5 miles down and get out. What a gorgeous day, though. Well, I'm heading back from Hot Springs Mountain, and boy, that scared me to death. I heard a roar off in the distance, and it was like an F-22 just went screaming right over my head. It was low, maybe 1,000 feet from me. I mean, I could damn near see the pilot. That's how close he was. About blew my eardrums out. I don't know if he'll be coming back or not. Too bad I didn't have the camera running. But man, that was loud. That's the closest I've ever been to a flyover. I mean, I've been to the Miramar Air Show, and I've been to a 10K in El Centro where the Blue Angels fly over, but man, nothing like that one. That was close. Whew. Of course, I got a long 5 mile hike to get back to the car. Most of it's downhill, but there are two decidedly uphill sections first, one of which is coming up. Not looking forward to that. Well, that'll about wrap up this edition of the Hiking Journal. My hike out to the Hot Springs Mountain Fire Lookout and the summit on the Los Coyotes Indian Reservation in inland San Diego. Well, anyway, on the next episode, we're going to take a drive out to the Mojave Preserve again. We're going to head up Interstate 15, and then we're going to make a ride in Barstow at the train station. Not the train station, we call it that, but it's actually the McDonald's train station off East Main Street. And we head out to toward Kelso Depot and the Mojave Preserve, and we take a drive up to the Providence Mountains and explore the Mitchell Caverns. So anyway, that'll all be coming up in the next edition of the journal. After we do the Providence Mountain, we're going to head back over to try to find us a spot to do a dry camp or an overland camp. And we ended up going up to the Mojave Cross, which we've been to several times in the past. So we were real familiar with that area. And so anyway, we spent an extremely cold night at the Mojave Cross, and the wind was just ripping. And it was another rough outing out in the desert. So anyway, that'll all be coming up in the next edition of the Hiking Journal. Alrighty, well, you guys take care. Be sure and click that like and subscribe button, and catch up on the latest editions of the journal, especially the Kearsarge Pass ones. If you haven't seen those, take a few minutes and watch the series that I put together on the Kearsarge Pass adventure. I think you're really get a kick out of that, and seeing especially the bear story. I thought that was one of my favorites. Well, anyway, you guys have a nice holiday season, and we'll see you in the start of 2025. I can't believe it's 2021 already. Well, anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye.